The only thing that matters is that 6 inches between your backbone and your breastbone.
Raise your eyes up. Right above is the next rung. Reach out and grab that rung. Pull yourself. Push your buddy. The next rung is today. Let's go. You can. You will. You believe. You believe. You believe.
There's a gleam, men. There's a gleam. Let's get the gleam, all right? Let's go.
This is a game of the heart. A game of being a man. Let's go. Do not underestimate the power of the human will. Light the ignition. Let's get this rocket ship going up now.
Those 2 little letters, W-E, we. Those 2 little letters, U-S, us. They're powerful. They're powerful. Great job. That's it.
Climb a mountain. You take one step at a time. Don't go looking at the top. You end up slipping on your ass. One step at a time, and the only step that's important is the next one. One play at a time. Finish everything we got.
All right, men, let's go. Let's meet our standard or exceed it.
I like the character of this football team. Because I'll tell you what, guys, when you get your back in a corner and people start looking left and right, all you got to do in this locker room is look at one another.
One play at a time for as long as it takes. Let's build our house. Let's go. Focus and finish.
Happy Friday. Lost another good one. A great one. I should say a great one. Couldn't hear myself talking on the with the winter hat on. Hey all. I gotta get the proper modulation. Alright. Let's not fiddle with the mic all day. Good. How you doing? Lovely Friday. Hope you're doing well. It is February 12th, Valentine's Day weekend. Hope you got a date. I actually had a date. She canceled. It was supposed to be a first date. And here I'm going to fiddle with the microphone the whole day. I need a chair and a different microphone. Found a young lady on a dating app, and yeah, she canceled. Can't win them all. Oh well. We're still going to have fun. How are you doing? We're live from the 12-ounce sports studio here in cold, blistery, snowy Magnolia, Ohio. Although it's not snowing today, but it's supposed to snow pretty hard tomorrow. So I'm not looking forward to that. Hopefully you have a big weekend ahead of you with maybe one of the ladies or the men, depending on your situation there. And hopefully you have a good sports weekend lined up. I can't talk. The whole Marty thing got to me. We lost a great one. Marty Schottenheimer. I was just a young buck when he was the Browns coach and took him to several AFC championship games where John Elway seemed to always break our heart. But some great memories with Coach Marty as a Brown. And, of course, he had a great career, not just with the Cleveland Browns. And he passed away this past week. This is Work Week in Review, live with the janitor. You can call or text the studio, 330-866-0525. It's right there on the screen if you feel inclined. And, again, don't be afraid to text. We take text messages as well. I'm going to try to hit OK on this notice without shutting my computer down. That's awesome. It didn't shut down, so we're going to still be live. It seems like every time I'm live, the main machine here in the studio wants to update the software. It's like, hey, Microsoft, can you do that like in the middle of the night when I'm not live on the air? That would be nice. If you notice, we don't have somebody here. My co-host is, he needs to take a sleep study. So before he's admitted to take the sleep study, apparently he doesn't sleep very well. Neither do I, but he has to take the COVID test before he can go take the sleep test. So try to keep up with all these tests. So I'm going to go solo today. So that's makes it even more important that you call in or text. Again, I'll read your text if you text in. And I don't have a call screener. I'm the producer. I'm the producer, the show host, behind the scenes. What else? Call screener. So we don't call screen. We take any call. So if you prank me, you prank me. That's just how it goes. Good. But we do have a lot of topics. We want to go over some betting. We have some baseball news for the first time on in a long time on Work Week in Review as we draw closer to the baseball season. And some cool news in there, too. We got a funny video of Tom Brady. What else? Well, you can see the list there on your right. Now, we do have two, how do you put it, morbid topics. But, this is Work Week in Review, not headlines that make us feel warm and fuzzy in review. So we go over the major headlines and the major news for this week. And we do have a big weekend ahead of us in the sporting world, the Daytona 500 that we'll get to here towards the end of the show. But anyway, don't forget the last segment toast, so get your beers ready. Hopefully you're home already. It's 4:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those on the West Coast, I apologize. Maybe you're allowed to have a brewski at lunch. Who knows? You guys have some wild rules out west there, so maybe you're allowed to do that. But I digress. This is, again, Work Week in Review. I'll say it 6,000 more times. If you want to help out the network, we do have live sports when there's no pandemic, so hopefully that's lifted soon. But if you want to help us out, the easiest way to help us out, if you are a gambler, go to MyBookie, MyBookie. Use the promo code 12OZ Sports. Gets the deposit bonus up to $1,000. I personally use it. I love it. And it's really easy to use. It's fun. They have squares on there. I had a couple squares for the Super Bowl. I don't know how I didn't win my squares. I had 7 for the Buccaneers and 0 for the Chiefs and never hit a quarter. So I was feeling real confident before the game. And then another way you can help us out is if you shop Amazon, which it seems like the entire world shops Amazon. If you go to 12OZSportsNetwork.com/Amazon, even if you're on your phone and you have the app, it'll take you to their site. It'll take you to their app, but it gets the 12-Ounce Sports Network a little credit, so we can keep the lights on. So 2 easy ways to help us out, and we don't inundate you with ads. We're corporate free, so hopefully you like what we're doing, and hopefully the pandemic goes away soon so we can get back to live sports, because we're missing hockey, live hockey on our network, lacrosse. Amateur baseball is still a go. I talked to the new league president, and an ABA basketball team had reached out to us. Maybe we'll be doing some live basketball this year. So stay tuned. In the meantime, we have 14 really good live talk shows. So check out the schedule and see if there's a show that kind of fits your niche. I know we have a couple gambling shows, a hockey show, all-around sports show. All kinds of shows. Check it out. Anyway, so you'll see our list there on the right. Marty Schottenheimer passes. Sad news this week. The big news that broke this morning was J.J. Watt. And a cool thing that the... sorry, I had a text there. Cool thing that the Texans did for J.J. Watt. He won it out. He's ready for a change. Instead of them... posting a trade where they probably could have got some picks or even a good player in exchange for him, all they did was just release him so he can control his own destiny in his new location. Whereas, in a trade, you got to find a team that's willing to exchange equal or close to equal commodities, and that limits where J.J. Watt could have went. But in this case, the Texans did a really cool thing, and they just released him outright, which is crazy as a business. They're not going to get anything in return for him. But I guess that's just their way of paying homage to him, playing at such a high level and letting him pick where he goes. So, I don't know. Cool thing the Texans did. Now, of course, Deshaun Watson wants out of Houston, and they won't let him. But again, you got to make the business decisions at some point. You just can't get rid of all your players and not get anything in exchange for them. And I don't think they want to get rid of Deshaun Watson. They look around the league, and if you look around the league, I mean, let's say 60 to 65% of the teams have what they feel is their quarterback. 30 to 35% probably are still looking. So the Texans know the danger is if they just get rid of him, kind of like they did with J.J. Watt, then they're going to be scurrying, oh, geez, whoever we pick up or if we draft somebody and they don't work out, that's a 5 to 6 year mistake. So maybe they can win him back over. I don't know if they're going to win him back over by getting rid of one of their best players or just letting one of their best players walk, but we shall see. But there's been some movement in the NFL. They've been talking about, a lot of players have been talking about making changes, wanting traded. Big free agents, so it'll be an interesting offseason as we just watched the Buccaneers win a Super Bowl, and their quarterback, touchdown Tommy, won his 7th. And did you see this? We'll put it up on the screen. He was having quite a bit of fun on the boat there. You can see touchdown Tommy he could barely walk. It was, I'm sure there's some stiffs out there like, I don't know, thinking that was a bad look for him or he's out of control. But, to diehard football fans, it was kind of refreshing to see he was able to let his guard down because, when you play in New England, I think one of their former players recently said it wasn't any fun playing there, even though they were winning all those Super Bowls. So it was nice to see Tom kind of let loose and be himself and not always keep that persona. So that was pretty cool. But I think he tweeted or put something out on Instagram, I think the same night, and said something about avocado tequila. So Tom was hitting the sauce pretty hard. And there was also a video of him throwing the trophy from one boat to another. That was pretty risky and also pretty funny. But Tom Brady living it up. And then I don't know if you saw his teammates, some of his Tampa Bay Buccaneer teammates wore to the boat party, the boat parade, T-shirts, homemade T-shirts with Brady's rookie picture or his combine picture where he's got no shirt on and he's just a skinny thing coming out of college. And it was pretty funny tribute to their quarterback there. So Tom Brady, number 7, 31-9. There was a lot of debate online. Why are we saying this is Tom Brady's, like he won the game? Well, nobody's saying he won the game. He's got 7 rings as a starting quarterback. We know it's a team sport, and we know Tampa Bay's defense looked amazing. We'll get back to that here in a minute. We actually have a caller that might want to talk about that. So you're live in the studio with 12 Ounce Sports and the janitors. Is Gleno?
Yes, and I did it, and I listened to your instructions as you said. You know what Tom Brady being drunk reminds me of?
Let's hear it.
Movie The Weekend at Bernie's, which I said on my show yesterday.
Well, at least he's alive.
That's true. That's true. I mean, we never saw this side of Tom Brady in New England. Yeah, I know the weather is warmer with Tampa Bay, but I mean, let's go here. Don't you think that Bill Belichick was the dark, evil villain for a second, and Bruce Arians allowed him to be the personality?
And I heard you say that on your show, it might have been before the Super Bowl, that Bruce Arians is letting Tom be a little different, or himself at least. He doesn't have to be a robot. And I think that helped him win this one. What do you think?
I agree. I don't think you're wrong at all. Now they just got to try and keep that defense together.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see how that's going to work. A friend of mine came on a show, Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan yesterday. He's like, Tom Brady, whatever. He kind of thought Brady was, well, it's Brady did enough to win, be the game manager. You have that defense. You got to see who's going to do what, but I'm going to give you a couple interesting predictions. I think Patrick Peterson might go to the Buccaneers.
Okay.
And I think Antonio Brown's actually going to retire, I think. And so is the Ndamukong Suh.
I think you're right about Antonio Brown. Well, it'll be interesting to see if Ndamukong Suh retires. I think he's got a little left in the tank, but I think Antonio Brown probably just checked off something on his bucket list, so it'll be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah, and Scotty Miller was on the herd today, and do you think he could be Tyreek Hill in the race?
That's interesting. Tough to say. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I think it's closer than people think, but probably not. That's actually funny. And speaking of Tyreek Hill, what Antoine Winfield did, that taunting penalty was so worth it.
Oh, yeah, he had to get him back. He had to get Tyreek back. You know, what comes around goes around, and it was pretty cool to see that.
The old phrase, "Karma is the B word." That's the old phrase. Come on now.
Right. Now, I got a question for you. We're going to change subjects real quick. What do you think about Major League Baseball going to 7-inning doubleheaders?
Now, is this permanent or is this just for this year?
I think it's COVID rules, but I don't know what it changes. I don't know why playing 14 innings versus 18 innings makes them safer from COVID, but it just seems a little hokey to me. It's going to seem a little high schoolish. I didn't know if you had any thoughts on that.
No, I don't have too many thoughts about it. I know my Uncle Frank. He hates that rule. He thinks Rob Manfred's ruined the sport. He needs to go. I mean, I don't know. I thought you were going to ask me about my opinions about J.J. Watt, and there's only one destination for him, in my opinion. I think he's going to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers because it's his brothers. But stay tuned on Monday for my show from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, and you'll find out where else he could go.
I love it, Glenn. I love that you're touting your show. We're not done with you yet, though, but that's a good point. I didn't think of that. The Steelers might have some incentive to get him and have – I wonder if two defensive linemen / defensive end brothers have ever played on the same team. That might be something you have to look up before your show Monday.
Here's the thing. Here's another thing. Marlon Humphrey, the quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, is trying to recruit JJ. Now, personally, I think Baltimore is a better fit than Pittsburgh. And if he really wants to stick it to his brothers in the dark side of evil, then he would join the Ravens.
That would be interesting.
Or he could go back to the Green Bay Packers, but I'm going to give, as in he played in college football at Wisconsin, but I'm going to stop right there. I ain't giving anything else away.
All right, good enough. Hey, Glenn, do you have any big plans this weekend for Valentine's Day?
No, God, no. The only thing, you know what's funny, Beck? Speaking of Valentine's Day, I know that the Washington Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins, they play each other this weekend, and those two teams had their Valentine's Day cards. Go check out their Twitter pages. With Washington and Pittsburgh, they're funny. And Washington used two former Pittsburgh players, Daniel Sprong and Justin Schultz, for cards. And I'm like, oh, my dear Neptune, we used to use those two players. And I'm like, the over-under goal scored on Sunday. I said 9 to a couple of people. A couple like could take the under. I'm like, give me the even or give me the over on that one. But that's a Pete question. I don't know what the gambling line is. I just said a random number.
There we go. We'll have to check with Pete. But, Glenn, I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for calling in. We always love it. If you have anything else on your mind, bring it up now. If not, we'll say goodbye and listen to your show on Monday. What do you think?
Yeah, all right. Hey, have a great weekend, Beck.
You too, buddy. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Glenn Kaplan from Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. He's live Mondays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on 12 Ounce Sports, which is via YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, our website, or Zingo TV, channel 761. Zingo works on smart TVs, Roku, Fire Sticks, computers, phone apps, you name it, they have it. And it's fun to watch us on the big screen if you're home at the time that things are live. So eventually you gotta be. You have to go home sometime. Anyway, we're going to go into the first break here. That was Glenn Kaplan. We got a couple subjects in. We'll be back right here In about 2 minutes, you're watching live from the 12-ounce sports studio. It's Work Week in Review with the janitor, and I am the janitor.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
At Amazon, we're pretty good at getting things done. We're pretty good at solving problems. COVID-19 is the biggest challenge we've had to face. The challenges are what motivate us, like flying masks to our employees around the world. We're doing everything we can to get you what you need, and doing everything we can to keep our people safe. I'm former Navy pilot Sarah Rhodes, and I'm proud to lead our Amazon Air network.
Hello. Make sure you got the proper modulation. Let's go, Pens. Hold on, we gotta cut the music. You know what's wrong with me? I kept thinking my mic was quiet. I had the headphones turned down. I'm a rookie.
You blew it!
I know. Going into the break there, Glenn Kaplan called in. Glenn has a live show Mondays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time called Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner on 12 Ounce Sports. Puts on a great show. Very energetic. We love that he calls in every week. And we talked about a few subjects there. Now, he brought up the Steelers. Speaking of which, the Pouncey brothers are retiring. One from the Steelers, one from the Chargers. Put in a great career. Of course, unfortunately, Pouncey of the Steelers might be last known for his first play of the game snap over Big Ben's head against the Browns. But he did have a storied career, and he's retiring finally. You always like to see players, go out somewhat on a high note. I mean, he had a good season. They didn't end the season the way they wanted to, but only one team gets to win the Super Bowl, correct? So, great careers by both brothers. And speaking of brothers, Glenn we brought up J.J. Watt, was released by the Texans, kind of a favor by the Texans instead of trading him. And so there's potential for him to play with his brother in Pittsburgh. So can't wait to see if the Steelers try to make a move on J.J. Watt. Now, sticking with pro football, which not normally do you think of Urban Meyer as a pro football subject, but of course he got hired by the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Urban has been known to, how do we put it, employ or recruit some people with backgrounds you might question. Of course, he had Aaron Hernandez in Florida, and we know all about Aaron Hernandez. And then he also had a wide receivers coach at Florida that he brought along to Ohio State. I think he was an Ohio State guy or from the area. And turns out he was a wife abuser. And that pretty much led to the downfall of Urban's career at Ohio State. I know he didn't get fired or suspended or knocked out by the NCAA. But I'm sure a lot of that weighed on him and helped his decision to retire. And just like Urban, he comes back again. So expect him to be in Jacksonville for about 4 to 5 years. But he's at it again. He hired the controversial strength coach from Iowa, who just last offseason was accused of using racial slurs against players. So as I was about to go on the air, I saw Urban was defending his hire, which, I mean, is he going to not defend the hire? So that's not surprising. But what's also not surprising is he hired somebody with, some controversy surrounding him. And who knows what in the world his excuse is going to be or why. I mean, how many strength coaches are out there? There's got to be a ton. Not that I don't know the whole story behind the Iowa strength coach. I don't know what he said. I don't know how valid it is. Several players had come out, so you would think there's at least some merit to the claims. So if you're Urban and you're known to hire sketchy people, I mean, why would you? There's plenty of strength people. You could have found somebody that's squeaky clean, but somehow you always navigate to these types of people. I just don't get it.
I pity the fool.
I do too, Mr. T. That was quiet. Oh, jeez.
I pity the fool.
I pity myself. So, Urban at it again. What are you going to do? Again, I don't expect him in Jacksonville long. I know how he is. I watched him at Florida, Utah, Bowling Green, Ohio State. It's the same story. I mean, the small schools and the mid-majors, he moved up to Florida for a reason. That's usually what most coaches want to do. But the whole way he left Florida was weird. And then he just abruptly left Ohio State. And then, when he makes it sound like he's retiring for good, and a year later, you're being rumored for every coaching opening, it's like, yeah, why did you really leave Ohio State? I think it might be for some other reasons other than what we've heard. So we'll see how that works out for him. I just noticed that my top 25 is not scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So we're going to do that. We're going to fix that because I like the college basketball top 25 to be scrolling. There we go. I think we fixed it. It'll be later on in the program. Oh, boy. Rookie. I need a producer. Not yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. So a cool story I saw coming out of baseball, which I know Mitch Bernstein, the Burn with Mitch, Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He's had several former Negro League coaches, players come on his show. And I thought this was cool. 7 Negro Leagues are going to be considered part of the major leagues. So they're currently in the history books considered to be, if I use the term amateur, I hope I'm not wrong, but don't correct me. But considered to be amateur or minor league, and they're looking to change that in the history books because if anybody knows anything about the Negro Leagues, high level of baseball, and it was the only outlet that minorities could play baseball. So who's to say that they weren't considered or they weren't at a major league level? So they're looking to reverse that. I thought that was really cool, and hopefully that goes through. I can't see why it wouldn't, but you never know. And you can weigh in on that or the next baseball subject I want to get to by texting the studio 330-866-0525. You can call. We've already had one caller. Feel free to do that. We don't screen, so you could probably mess with me, but hey, it's up to you. So sticking with baseball, they've determined because of the pandemic, because of COVID, that they want to do 7-inning doubleheaders. And I brought it up to Glenn. I think it was news to him. I did see the headline this morning as I was getting ready for the show. I don't know why they're doing that, to shorten the time around each other. They think, I mean, if you're going to start shortening the time around each other by shortening games, because games are supposed to be 9 innings, why don't you just not have doubleheaders? Wouldn't that make more sense? That was loud. That hurt my ears. Like, why are you having doubleheaders if you have to make them 7 innings long? Just don't have doubleheaders. Just make up games. I don't get it. Sometimes these leagues seem to overthink it or make rash decisions. But look for high school length baseball games this season when they play 7 innings. Be some nice flashbacks for some of us. But baseball shaking up things and making some moves to work around COVID. I know everybody's had to adjust their lives. I don't know if I'm sold on that one.
You can act like a man. What's the matter with you?
I know, I'm whining now. Speaking of baseball, it looks like minor leagues are going to exist. I think it's going to be limited somehow, but they're going to make sure that every major system has, somebody in place at the minor league level. So I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, the Ohio Men's Senior Baseball League is going to go on as planned, and we will broadcast them live on 12 Ounce Sports. Hold on, I'm getting a text. This is my boss texting me about stocks. We've been trading on the stock market there. So, Ohio Men's Senior Baseball League. They got a new president, so he's pretty excited. He wants us to add some games on 12 Ounce Sports, so we're going to work that out. If you know anybody in the Canton, Ohio area that can operate a camera in a sporting event, we're looking for someone. We're paying them. But I'm going to need a cameraman, I think, for amateur baseball, at least for some of the games. So, yeah, if you're in the Stark County, Ohio area and know somebody that can operate a camera, let them know to get a hold of us, 12ozsports@gmail.com. That's the baseball subjects. We're halfway through the show. There's no e-racing tonight. We got Talkman coming up at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The World Hockey Report replay coming on right after this show. We got about 28 minutes to go. We're going to take usually the commercial breaks are 2 minutes. We're going to make it about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I got to drink some coffee and gather myself. But you're watching live from the 12 Ounce Sports Studio. We're in cold, bitterly cold Magnolia, Ohio. And again, you can text or call us. I am the janitor. I'm solo tonight. My co-host had a few things to take care of. He should be back next week. And we're going to be back in about 2.5 minutes.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
At Amazon, we're pretty good at getting things done. We're pretty good at solving problems. COVID-19 is the biggest challenge we've had to face. But challenges are what motivate us. Like flying masks to our employees around the world. We're doing everything we can to get you what you need, and doing everything we can to keep our people safe. I'm former Navy pilot Sarah Rhodes, and I'm proud to lead our Amazon Air network.
Good, coming at you live, 12 Ounce Sports, Friday, February 12th, 2021. Hope you're having a great Friday. We're heading into Valentine's Day weekend. Hey-o. All you cool cats and kittens out there with a date, have a good time. Stay out of trouble. All right, we're going into next to last segment. As you know, the last segment we toast, so I brought some Miller Lite to the studio, but not too much because I got to drive home. So be responsible. But be ready for that here in about 10 minutes. We'll do our last segment toast. Good. Yeah, good times. Always looking forward to that, and always looking forward to another great weekend. We're hoping that live sports can get back. We're still waiting to hear from the ACHA for live college hockey on 12 Ounce Sports. But, hey, we'll take what we can get. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So we were talking about MyBookie at the opening and how they're one of the main sponsors of 12 Ounce Sports. MyBookie's a really cool app, and I actually use it on my laptop, usually at home when I'm making my bets. But the promo code 12OZSports gets you a deposit bonus up to $1,000. And I just noticed today that the Utah Jazz, despite having the best record in the NBA, I believe 20-5, are still plus 1,200 to win the title. That was interesting. I think it was a headline on somebody's website. But, yeah, the best team in the NBA right now has crazy odds. And that reminded me of last weekend. So full disclosure, Last Saturday morning, I woke up with a little ringy-dingy in the head. Had a few too many pops the night before, and I was looking for some betting action, so I jumped on my bookie from my laptop there in the living room, and I was looking at the PGA tournament, and I tried to find a big name that was around plus 1,000, and I went with Brooks Koepka, and he was down 7 strokes at the time. In fact, he was down 7 strokes making the turn on Sunday, and if you watched the golf tournament last week, you will know that Brooks Koepka won. So a hungover bet that I made Saturday morning based on no data, just the big name, $10 bet got me $100. So I was very excited about that. And it took he chipped in for eagle on one of the par 5s late in that round to lock that up. He took a 2-stroke lead at that point. And there might have been a par 4. Might have been almost a drivable par 4 where he chipped in for eagle. But let's just say we almost took the roof off of my living room. I jumped so high and I almost pulled a muscle, blew my knee out. Oh, that was fun. But the Utah Jazz have about the same odds, plus 1,200. You might want to look into that. I saw a headline this morning that was pretty cool to me. I love when these mid-majors are able to attract talent. Because, if I was a 3 or 4 star, I might consider, and I'm sure a lot of you saw the leaked video of Nick Saban recruiting and talking about, or trying to downplay the fact that these players could go anywhere else and start right away. But he was talking about how the competition in practice makes them even better, which is true. As a former coach and player, if the better the competition in practice, the better overall player you're going to be. But I still wonder why some of these 3 and 4 stars choose a Power 5, top 25 team when they might not start till they're a junior. Whereas if they went to, maybe a Power 5 that's not top 25, they could start right away. But anyway, I'm rambling on. But SMU, I saw this morning, is number 1 in recruiting for the group of 5. So, I think a lot of people would have bet Boise State, maybe Central Florida, maybe even Cincinnati. No, SMU, of all schools, number 1 in recruiting in the group of 5. And I think they just landed another big name, too. Or, well, not big name, but 4-star, I guess we could say. So keep an eye on them. I know they're usually hovering around the top 25. I think they gave Cincinnati a good game this past year, and they had a really good record. But that's a team to watch, I guess, here coming up. Maybe another team that's going to get shut out of the playoffs. I need a producer. I use the same 3 sound bites. Oh, well. So we got the, it's not going to be the same as normal. It's not going to be as exciting, but we do have the college basketball tournament coming up soon. I'm going to pull up a graphic here if I could. But the top 25 we're going to bring up on the screen here. Now you see Gonzaga, they're 18-0. Baylor 17-0. I don't think I would have predicted that before this beginning of the season. Now you got rivals at 3-4, Michigan, Ohio State. Now I know my Buckeyes. I've watched a lot of their games. They're sneaky good. Ohio State's sneaky good. Villanova's always up there. Illinois. Now the thing about Illinois, I've only seen 3 games of theirs this year, but I saw them almost get beat by Ohio University. Not Ohio State, Ohio University, but there they are at number 6. And yes, you'll see a lot of Big Ten teams in the top 5 there, top 6, sorry, 3 of them. Texas Tech, Houston, Virginia, Missouri, Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas, West Virginia, which West Virginia and Texas Tech the other night, the Texas Tech coach was a little animated as he got kicked out of the game. And you see the rest of the top 25 there. Iowa at 15. Then you got Tennessee, Florida State, Virginia Tech, Creighton, Southern California, Wisconsin, another Big Ten team. And then look at number 24. Oh, yeah, Purdue. Yours truly finishing his degree at Purdue. And they have cracked the top 25. And I have to say, I'm a proud feller there. Good times. Yeehaw. So the NCAA tournament coming up soon. It's not going to be as exciting as normal. I think they're talking about scrapping conference tournaments. I'm sure the NCAA tournament is not going to be as, they're not going to have packed arenas. They may even have some arenas that are empty, which will stink. But, hey, the tournament's the tournament. I mean, I'm sure we're all going to still watch. We're all going to enjoy the action. And there's some really good teams. I'm not sure anybody can beat Gonzaga, but I think it's going to make for an interesting and fun tournament to watch. The buddies on my text thread, I got, a group of 7 or 8 of us on a text thread that, I mean, the text thread's literally been going on for 10 years, and it's all a bunch of guys that went to high school together, and we're in our mid to late 40s. But one of them, he's a high school basketball coach. He made a good point. It's starting to get hard to watch these sports with empty arenas because, you could argue, well, it's still the sport. It's still hockey. It's still basketball. You love those sports. Yeah, but the crowd brings a sort of energy to the games that it doesn't, I don't know. I guess if I was sitting in the arena and it was empty, maybe it would be different. But sitting on your couch and there's no atmosphere, it's just, oh man, it's brutal on the mind to not be able to hear those crowds chanting and going nuts. And I don't know. I don't know when we're going to get back to some normalcy. It was nice to see a crowd in the Super Bowl, albeit not a full house, but it did bring some ambiance and some energy to that stadium. So hopefully we get back to that soon. And I know I just took a break. We got 2 subjects. One's with betting, and then we're going to do league standings. We got to do our toast. But we might as well take it now so we can just run this out the last 13 minutes instead of trying to take a break with 7 minutes to go. So you're watching Work Week in Review live with the janitor here from the 12-ounce sports studio in beautiful Crossroads Shopping Plaza in Magnolia, Ohio. And I hope you're enjoying the show. We got Talkman coming up at 6 p.m. World Hockey Report comes on right after this, a replay from Wednesday's show, which 2 weeks ago we had the Barstool Sports Chief on, which was pretty interesting. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. You'll have to watch that on Zingo TV, channel 761. We only stream on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and our website when we're live. Replays you got to watch on our TV channel, which is Zingo TV, channel 761. Promo code 12OZ. It's free. The promo code's just so Zingo knows we sent you. So we'll be right back. I'm the janitor. You can call or text the studio before the end of the show, area code 330-866-0525. I'll be right back on the back end of this commercial break.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
At Amazon, we're pretty good at getting things done. We're pretty good at solving problems. COVID-19 is the biggest challenge we've had to face. But challenges are what motivate us. Like flying masks to our employees around the world. We're doing everything we can to get you what you need, and doing everything we can to keep our people safe. I'm former Navy pilot Sarah Rhodes, and I'm proud to lead our Amazon Air network.
threw that bag a little hard there. About took a ceiling tile out. Hey, old man, get off the dance floor. Oh, yeah. Valentine's Day weekend. Do you have big plans? Ooh, what's her name? Hey-oh. You know what this is? It's the last segment. We're within 10 minutes of quitting time. And what do we do last segment? We toast to a good weekend. Here we go. Oh, this is going to taste good. It's good. It's good, Jerry. There you go. Hope you toasted with me to a good weekend, a great weekend, a lover's weekend. Oh, yeah. The soothing sounds of romance are in the air. And hopefully, most of you cash out. I don't even know what that means. Hey-o. So one more Debbie Downer subject, but, you know, it doesn't have to be. The Daytona 500 is this Sunday. It'll mark the 20-year anniversary since the tragedy with Dale Earnhardt. And I saw an E60 intro for it this morning. It was... It chokes you up, but, you know, it's interesting to, you know, how NASCAR has evolved with safety and how they've really treated his legacy so well over the last 20 years. But it's hard to believe it's been 20 years. I mean, time's just flying by. So I always love watching the Daytona 500. Of course, we talked about it with my co-host last week and the week before. They just had the 24 Hours of Daytona. Same track, they just turned it into a road course. The cars, you know, most of these race tracks, they have ovals, but also the infield for NASCAR events where you see all the fans and the campers, there's roads in there. So for these road courses, they do like a half oval, and then they have to make a turn down into the infield and make crazy turns. But they just had the 24-hour Daytona, I think it was a week ago. And now the Daytona 500, which is a very storied NASCAR event, usually marks the beginning of the season. But it's going to be a special one this year because it's the 20-year anniversary of Earnhardt's death on the track there. So you should tune in. It should be a pretty fitting and heartwarming tribute to the fallen great driver there of Daytona. So that's another big headline of the week. Of course, this is Work Week in Review, so we go over the big headlines of the week. You can see matchups in the NHL, NBA, and the top 25 in college basketball scrolling at the bottom if you're looking to find something to watch tonight. Now, tomorrow is the UFC 258, and I was looking at the card. I tell you, there was a ton of fights. I mean, the first fights were starting at like 10 p.m., and we'll bring our graphic up here. Yeah, I made a nice graphic there for you to look at. But the first fight was at like 10 p.m. And the main card, the main event was like at 3 in the morning. It's like a 5.5 hour event. I don't know anybody could watch all that from 10 p.m. at night Eastern time to 3 a.m. So I'm going to have to record it. But there were some interesting bets you could make on there. You see the graphic. The MyBookie 12OZ Sports, you get up to $1,000 free, and you can bet on some of these fights. So I didn't put the Usman Burns fight up there on the odds. Some of the odds I wanted to single out because I found them interesting because I don't know all these fighters. So I'm going to be honest with you, but I know some of them. And I noticed Miosic's only he's an underdog plus 120 against Ngannou minus 150. And then the biggest one, the biggest odds of the night was in the female fighting department, Amanda Nunes, minus 1040 versus Megan Anderson plus 720. So if you're not a big gambler, What that means is if you're minus, the minus part is how much you'd have to bet to win 100. If you're plus, you have to bet 100 to win the plus. So Nunes, you'd have to bet $1,040 just to win 100. Whereas Megan Anderson, you bet 100, you'll win 720. So that's how big of an underdog Megan Anderson is in that one. And then another close one I saw was Brian Ortega plus 160 against Alexander Volkanovski. Oh, can't even say it. So there's some good fights. Of course, the Usman Burns fight should be really good. And you can make those bets on MyBookie, MYBOOKIE. Use the promo code 12OZ Sports. You'll get that deposit bonus. So we usually close this out with some standings from around the sporting world. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to stay true to the show here and what we normally do. I'm going to bring it up on the full screen. So brace yourself. It's going to take over. Here's the NHL. In the Scotia North, yes, the divisions have sponsors. I couldn't think of it. Toronto in first. This is the All-Canadian League, the Scotia North. Toronto's in first with, where's their points? 23 points. Montreal with 18, tied with Edmonton, who's climbing up the leaderboard. In the standings last week, they were in fourth. Winnipeg in fourth. Calgary, Vancouver, and Ottawa holding up the rear with only 2 wins. Going to the Mass Mutual East, you got Boston in the lead with Ethan Yarbrough. Put out an article last week, and I know my co-host was surprised that Ethan called Boston the most consistent team, and here they are in first now, trailed by Philadelphia, Washington, the Islanders. My Pittsburgh Penguins have fallen to 5th. New York Rangers in 6th. The Jersey Devils in 7th. Buffalo in 8th. In the Discover Central, Tampa Bay leads that division, followed by Florida and Columbus, Carolina, Chicago, Dallas, Nashville, and Detroit, holding up the rear there with 3 wins. And to round this out in the West, you got Vegas in first, St. Louis in second, Colorado, Anaheim, Arizona, Minnesota, San Jose, and Los Angeles is your standings in the NHL. And there's some good action tonight. Tons of games tomorrow night in the NHL. And that'll scroll on the bottom of the screen here coming up in just a second. But quite a bit of action. If you watched Pete's Power Plays yesterday at noon, he's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, noon Eastern Time on 12 Ounce Sports. He's up like 20-some units this year in NHL gambling. And he's mentioned a lot of NHL prognosticators are saying this has been a tough year to pick games. So being up 20-plus units is pretty impressive. He's taken on some clients. Check him out. You'll find him through our Twitter or Facebook. Pete's Power Plays Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at noon. So hopefully you caught some of his picks for tomorrow's Saturday afternoon hockey action, because there's a ton of games to choose from. We're going to go over to the NBA standings, make sure I have those up properly, and see who's leading in the NBA. Now, we mentioned the Jazz earlier, but in the Eastern Conference, the 76ers, Milwaukee Bucks, Brooklyn Nets, Boston Celtics, and the Pacers, top 6, followed by the Hornets, Hawks, Heat, and Knicks. Now, of course, my Cavs are reeling here. They were in 7th, I think, last week when we did this. Knicks are followed by the Bulls, Cavs, Magic, Wizards, and Pistons. Oh, man, 2 Detroit teams, NHL and NBA, in last place. I'm sure Captain Lou's not happy about that. In the West, the Utah Jazz, we mentioned them with the best record in the NBA, but they're still plus 1,200 to win the title, followed by the Lakers, Clippers, Suns, Trailblazers, Spurs, Nuggets. Golden State Warriors are moving up a little bit. Grizzlies, Kings, and rounding it out, the Mavericks, Pelicans, Rockets, Thunder, and Timberwolves. Those are your NBA standings. This has been Work Week in Review. I enjoyed it immensely. I hope you did too. Hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day weekend. To all you lovers, take care, and we'll see you next week. I'm out. World Hockey Report coming up. The replay from Wednesday coming up here in about 15 seconds.